Right now at noon, preventative sandbagging efforts are underway in Columbia County in response to rising waters. Plus, Governor Walker says flooding has caused more than $200 million in damage. We'll break down the numbers. And a senior Trump administration official that wrote an anonymous op-ed in the New York Times, well, what the president is saying about all that.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this Thursday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look at our first alert forecast and some good news for a change.
Yes, finally, we get the sunshine to have an extended stay across southern Wisconsin and much more comfortable air in town. That cold front that came through yesterday is now far enough south where we don't have to worry about the rain across southern Wisconsin. Unfortunately, our friends in Illinois are bearing the brunt of that system right now. But for us, I think that Doppler track will remain quiet for at least the next 3 or 4 days or so. Live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. A few high cirrus clouds, but also some blue sky, which is the important thing. Temperatures right about 70 degrees, northeast wind at 10 miles per hour. That dew point much more comfortable in the mid 50s. Upper 60s and low 70s for temperatures at the noon hour. And dew points are very comfortable. Some of us in the mid 40s. That is some nice air to be outside in. We're at 54 in Madison. That's about a 15 to, in some spots, 25-degree dew point change. So it feels about 25 degrees less humid in Black River Falls. Wind speeds out of the north and east at about 8 to 15 miles per hour. Your forecast first highs should make it into the lower 70s today. Temperatures will fall into the low 50s by the time we get to tomorrow morning. We'll talk about this extended stretch of nice dry weather and maybe how close Gordon will get to us in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, we need a few days to recover. All right, Dave, we'll see you in a few minutes. Right now at noon, crews from Columbia County, along with National Guard members, are sandbagging near Portage. This is along I-90-94 at Highway 33. Officials say this is preventative sandbagging efforts. Columbia County emergency management officials are asking volunteers to help fill those bags. If you'd like to help with that or any other flood recovery efforts, ask to call 608-742-4166. Students in Reedsburg won't be heading back to class until Monday due to the flooding that continues to hit that city especially hard right now. Highway 33 is still closed in that area, which is part of the reason school is starting a week after it was originally scheduled to begin. Reedsburg High School's principal Rob Taylor says he's never seen anything like this, his district having to cancel classes for the first few days of a new school year. But he says students and the community are coming together to help those in need.
When you have issues like this, oftentimes communities have to put out a request for help and see if you can get someone to volunteer. In Reedsburg, there were dozens of people, literally close to probably 100 people in our parking lots bagging sand. There are donations of clothes, food, and other items for the people. And this community, I think, takes it to heart that we're all in this together, and so they do whatever they can.
People in Reedsburg and throughout Sauk County are still dealing with serious flood damage. If you'd like to help them out, you can just search Sauk County on our website, channel3000.com, for a list of ways that you can donate. Governor Walker says severe flooding has caused more than $200 million in damage. The governor tweeted that this morning. He puts estimates at the damage of $208.7 million overall, including $98.2 million in damage to homes, $40.8 million damage to businesses, and $69.6 million to public infrastructure. State and local officials are still responding to rising waters and haven't gotten full damage estimates yet. Federal Emergency Management Agency survey teams are planning to spend at least a week in Wisconsin assessing damage. That data will be used to make a request for federal disaster assistance. In other news, police say 4 people are dead, including the gunman in a downtown Cincinnati bank shooting. The police chief there says the shooter opened fire early this morning at the loading dock of the Fifth Third Bank building. The gunman then entered the bank's lobby where he exchanged gunfire with police. Cincinnati's Mayor John Cranley says the gunman was actively shooting innocent victims and that it was a horrific scene. It's unclear if the gunman shot himself or was shot by officers. One of the victims died at the scene. Speculation is running rampant in Washington, D.C. about who is the senior Trump administration official that wrote an anonymous op-ed in the New York Times claiming to be part of a movement to thwart parts of President Trump's agenda. Nicole Killian has more details from the White House.
If the failing New York Times has an anonymous editorial, can you believe it? Anonymous. Meaning gutless, a gutless editorial.
President Trump is said to be furious about an anonymous New York Times opinion piece claiming to be a senior official in the White House. The author says he or she is part of a resistance inside the administration and claims to be part of a group thwarting Mr. Trump's more misguided impulses until he's out of office. President Trump demanded on Twitter that the Times must, for national security purposes, turn him or her over to the government at once.
He's part of the resistance within the Trump administration. This is what we have to deal with.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders issued a statement calling the author selfish and said this coward should do the right thing and resign. Statements have been pouring out of the West Wing, all the way from Vice President Pence on down, denying they were the senior administration official who wrote the article.
If you're not in a position to execute the commander's intent, you have a singular option, and it's to leave.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says it wasn't him, and he blamed the media for running the piece.
I find the media's efforts in this regard to undermine this administration incredibly disturbing.
The paper defended the op-ed, saying it adds significant value to the public's understanding of what is going on in the Trump administration. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
And the New York Times op-ed editor says the paper was first approached through a third party, and they only ran the piece after verifying the author is who he claims to be. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh arrived for the third day of his confirmation hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee. During today's hearing, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker says that lack of access to critical documents is hurting efforts to question Kavanaugh, especially on issues related to race. Thousands of documents related to Kavanaugh's career are off limits to the Senate Judiciary Committee's conducting his confirmation. Booker says he believes the email is so important, he's going to make it public, and he's prepared to take the consequences.
I'm going to release the email about racial profiling, and I understand that the penalty comes with potential ousting from the Senate. And I'm releasing it to expose that, number one, the emails that are being withheld from the public have nothing to do with national security, nothing to jeopardize the sanctity of those ideals that I hold dear.
Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono and Illinois Senator Dick Durbin joined with Booker. Hirono also says she will release confidential documents. Well, there's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Want to enjoy the taste of homemade cinnamon buns without all the work? We've got the recipe that can do just that. I don't know about you, but now that Labor Day is behind us, I'm ready for fall and all the goodness that comes with it. And one way to get a jump start is by whipping up a cinnamon bun poke cake. When your whole house is filled with the aroma of freshly baked cinnamon buns, you'll know what I mean. We start by preparing a box of white cake mix, according to the package instructions, in a 9x13 pan. While that cools, we mix together some melted butter, brown sugar, a good amount of ground cinnamon, a little vanilla, and some sweetened condensed milk. We set that aside for a sec while we poke holes all over the cake with the handle of a wooden spoon. Now we pour our filling over the cake, making sure all the holes are filled with this cinnamon goodness. Now we finish this with a homemade cream cheese frosting, and it's ready to serve. And boy, is this good. Between all the gooey pockets of the cinnamon filling and the creaminess of the frosting, it tastes just like a cinnamon bun, but with the ease of a poke cake. To get the recipe for our cinnamon bun poke cake, all you have to do is check out our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a sensational way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, finally a dry day in the forecast. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield will tell us how long that will last. Coming up after this. Well, the labor market goes lukewarm and users question their relationship with Facebook. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
Businesses boosted headcount in August, but not by as much as expected. According to payroll processor ADP, private employers added 163,000 jobs last month. Jobs in professional and business services led the gains, followed by education and health care. The global economy could grow $26 trillion in just a decade if governments and businesses increase investments in tackling climate change. That's according to a new report from the Global Commission on the Economy and Climate. The report suggests reducing the carbon footprint and accelerating investments in sustainable infrastructure could add more than $2 trillion a year. A federal judge says the Food and Drug Administration hasn't worked fast enough to issue new warnings on cigarette packages and advertisements. The previous graphic warnings were struck down in 2012 after a challenge from the tobacco industry. The judge has given the FDA until later this month to come up with a plan. And more than half of Facebook users say they don't understand how the news feed works. According to Pew Research, older users are the least likely to understand the news feed. The study also showed 1 in 4 users deleted the app over the past year, and 42% of people took a break from the site for a few weeks. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Thank you, Diane. The Dow Industrial is down 27.5 points at the noon hour. The NASDAQ down 95. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee out of the radio barn this week, so here are your farm numbers. And Pam will be back with us next week. Let's head out to the patio. Dave Caulfield, we haven't seen you outside in a while.
Yeah, I haven't really seen the sun in a while, so my eyes are having a tough time adjusting to it, but it's a good problem to have because this dry stretch of weather is really going to help out the flooding situation. We still do need to worry about flooding, especially over the next couple of days. River flooding isn't necessarily just going to go away like that, but we can definitely deal with the sunshine. A live look in Platteville, just like on the patio, looking very nice and sunny. A few clouds out there. As I mentioned, we still do have those river flooding bulletins, but what this dry stretch of weather will do is allow it to get gradually better day by day and not adding to that flooding by producing any rain. So that's at least good news. Visible cloud track, not too much across Wisconsin. A lot of those clouds have moved to the south and east, closer to where that front is across central and northern Illinois. Doppler track is quiet for Wisconsin, but if we zoom out a little bit, we could see where that rain is now, and that's across the northern portion of Illinois, closer to where that front has moved. That front isn't going to move that much over the next couple of days, so unfortunately for our friends just to the south, could be some more flooding in that area. And here is what is left of what once was Tropical Storm Gordon. If you believe it or not, it actually still is a tropical depression with max winds of 10 miles per hour. That is not a typo. I checked it multiple times before the show, even though Gordon from Sesame Street is probably more powerful at this point, but still having some tropical characteristics. That's why it still has that tropical designation. Downtown Madison, we're not feeling tropical anymore. We're actually feeling a lot better outside. The almanac for today, forecast high of 72, a little bit below normal for this time of year, but it's going to feel fantastic, and it does feel fantastic outside. Temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s, and dew points in the 40s and 50s. That is literally a breath of fresh air. Wind speeds today out of the north and east at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so a little bit on the breezy side, but not too bad in most spots. High temperature trend, we are staying in the low to mid 70s, but by the time we get into next week, we may crack into the 80s once again, so a little bit warmer by the time we get to next week, but we can definitely deal with temperatures and conditions like this, the pleasant weather continuing through the weekend into next week. So future tracks showing this high pressure system keeping everything away from us, and that front gradually moving to the south and east. You can see the remnants of Gordon in that low pressure system I have there on the map, and they'll kind of merge with that front and should bring all that precipitation to the south and east, so we don't need to worry about it. Maybe a few more clouds on Sunday, but really that's all we're going to be dealing with, because that system will miss us to the south and east, which is a welcome change from really the last couple of months. I was doing some checking, and the last time we had 7 straight days of dry weather was early July. So it's been about 2 months since we've really gotten a break like this, and we'll definitely take it. I don't think we need to worry about rain until we get into the start of next weekend, Mark.
Wow, that's a good stretch.
Yes.
We need it.
Exactly, just like that.
No, that is not that kind of stretch. All right, Dave, thank you. More to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our pet of the week. We'll meet Sadie, a little rat terrier mix, when we come back. Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our pet of the week. Hello, Marissa.
Hi.
This is Sadie.
Sweet Sadie here.
Tell us about her.
So Sadie is about 8 years old, and she's some sort of rat terrier mix. And she was surrendered to us, and she's actually been at the shelter a very long time, believe it or not.
And the problem is she's a little standoffish?
So Sadie here is, I'll be honest with you, if you come and meet with Sadie, she might be a little aloof at first. She takes a little bit of time to warm up to new people, but it doesn't take very long. And, when I saw her this morning, she's jumping all over, dancing around.
Look at that face.
So once you become her person, you you become her favorite.
But she has to be a one dog
Yes.
in the house.
Yep, she is looking for all of your love, so we are looking for a home for her where she can be the only pup in the house. But at 8 years old, I love that age because you know the type of personality you're going to get with her, but she is still really active. She absolutely loves going for nice long walks, and I think she'd be a great companion to kind of snuggle up on the couch and then go out for that nice hike on a day like today.
Yeah, 8 years old is not that old for a dog
not at
that
all.
size. Look at those ears on her.
Yep, and you may not see her back in the kennels when you come and visit, but just ask for her in the adoption center. She likes to hang out in our office with us. We're giving her a little bit more of a home environment, but be sure to ask for this lady because she is absolutely amazing.
I think she's part bat.
I know.
With those ears. All right, you got some longtime residents out there.
We do. So in addition to Sadie, we have a bunch of dogs that have been with us a long time. We got Luigi, Rocco, Whale, Makita, and Penny. And they are all just fabulous pups that maybe might not show well in the shelter. They might be getting a little stressed, or they might be hanging out back in our offices, so they've been with us a while. But come meet these guys because they are going to bring so much joy and love to your family.
So if you go out to the Humane Society, maybe ask at the front desk, are any dogs in offices that we can see?
Yep, for sure. Ask for those dogs in offices, or they might be back in other areas of the shelter where you might not see them right away.
Okay. Last week?
Oh my gosh, Bronny, we are so excited for Bronny. He was with us for over a year and he got adopted. We are so excited for that handsome guy.
He's a great dog. I'm glad he got a home. I love that two-tone face on him. All right, let's get Sadie a home
make
here.
it happen for Sadie.
Go to the website, giveshelter.org, for information on Sadie and all the other guys available. Even if you're in the back office, 608-838-0413, the number to call. Marissa, have a great weekend.
Thanks.
And it's one final check of the forecast. Here's Dave.
Well, Mark, the rain has been with us for quite some time, but not anymore. The dry weather starting today, that rain well off to the south this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant with highs in the lower 70s. Your forecast first showing temperatures dipping into the lower 50s before we're back into the mid 70s tomorrow with plenty of sunshine.
We deserve this.
We definitely do.
All right, Dave. Thank you. That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. Have a great afternoon.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.